You know that feeling when you're at Ross and you find the best gifts for way less? Like brand name sweaters, the coolest kids' toys, and plush dog beds? Get that feeling with every gift and save 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices. At Ross, yes, for less.
This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and NIL Game Changers. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
This half hour brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, the best in new inventory and great deals at this time of the year. Great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee. And a terrific service department. Quick lane, inspections, routine, difficult. They handle it all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. And with that, we bring in the outstanding Frank Bodani, York Daily Record. My friend, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and your wonderful family, and thank you for your time today.
Gosh, Steve, what a great intro. Blessings to you, and it's like a snow globe here in York, so I'm thinking it's the same in State College, right?
It is, as a matter of fact. It is very a holiday-esque here with the snow that's been coming down. It will not have any effect on the game tomorrow in any way, shape, or form, but it's still very cool to see. It's beautiful here, as a matter of fact. All right.
Yes, but one of the colder games we're going to be looking forward to, right? Good thing we're not going to be outside doing our work tomorrow.
No, it's going to be 26 at kickoff, wind chill about 10 or 11. During the game. Sustained winds about 15, gusting to 30 once in a while based on what we've seen so far. And we'll see what kind of role it does play in the game. I mean, we'll see. Penn State played, Frank, Penn State at Minnesota was about 32, but no wind. Okay, no wind. 32. It's cold, though, but no wind. But then they played Maryland. How much do you think just the fact that they played in it, because Maryland was 26 and a wind chill like 9 or 10, something like that. How much just nobody wants to play in cold weather, but at least they've done it before.
Well, they've done it, and here's, I think, also the point, Steve, is that they live in it, and they can practice in it on a daily basis or whenever they feel fit, right? It's not even, to me, it's not even just game day. It's that they're used to they're used to this weather and performing in it. And I think SMU is definitely not. So what kind of shock is that to them? I think it definitely means something. Now, it'll be interesting to see how quickly SMU adjusts and can they block it out. But you cannot deny it. It's going to be an issue. And that's why I think there's so many things that Penn State really needs to come out quick, aggressive, make their stand right away. Yeah. They do that, the path to me is much easier tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I say this all the time. Always do everything you can. Play with the lead. Okay? Make somebody chase you. Okay? I mean, Penn State had to chase USC. They finally chased them down in the fourth quarter. But it's still hard playing uphill. Right? And that you have to, in this game, in these conditions, if you can make SMU play uphill, I think that's a big advantage for Penn State.
Absolutely, because SMU has a lot of dynamic possibilities, potential on offense especially. But if you create havoc and you make that dysfunctional, then I don't see a path to them being able to go forward. Their path is that they can hit the big plays and get comfortable early and keep that going. If you don't allow that to happen early, to me, that's That's so much in Penn State's favor. And SMU, right? I mean, not just the cold. How about the crowd? To SMU, I don't think they played in a crowd maybe half the size all year. And that's going to be a factor, I would think, right? Trying to hear the calls, the snaps, going to be an issue.
Yeah, well, in fact, let me get to that for a moment, because you do bring up an interesting point. The largest crowd SMU played in front of on the road this season was 50,000 at Louisville. The second largest crowd they played in front of was 36,000 at Virginia. They played before a total of 156,000 on the road this season. Now, whatever the number is tomorrow, 85, 105, whatever it is, I'm sorry, it's different. I mean, and this is where I gave Ohio State tremendous credit. When they came in here, they didn't budge once. Not one time. I mean, to their credit, did not budge. Washington did. Illinois did. Let's see what happens with SMU. That's how I look at the crowd tomorrow.
Yeah, those teams you mentioned before, Ohio State, very seasoned in these situations, and it's not a knock on SMU. They're just not. So if it's just one thing to me, okay, it's one thing, but it's multiple things for tomorrow for them that they have to overcome. It's the crowd, it's the weather, it's playing a team that probably they haven't faced a defense with this type of speed or, big play ability up front. I mean, there's just so many different things for them to have to get used to all at once. It's a big ask for a team like that.
Here's the other part, Frank. SMU is contradictions in a lot of ways, right? Let's start with this. You rack up the video and you go, oh, man, quarterback can play, running it back can play, wide out, right? Two defensive ends, the middle linebacker. They got a lot of things you sit back and go, hey, they do a lot of things really well. Place kicker. And then you break it down. They average 8-9 penalties a game, 80 to 90 yards in penalties a game. They've fumbled the ball 23 times this year, lost 12. They're minus 11 giveaway, takeaway in the road. They've got all sorts of stuff where you say it doesn't add up to an 11-2 team, but obviously they've overcome it all, and they are an 11-2 team.
Well, they are, and I think competition maybe plays into some of this because they're not playing the teams that are as talented and have the depth as Ohio State on a regular basis, Penn State, Michigan, we can go through the whole Big Ten. So they're able to make those, to me, they're able to maybe make those mistakes, have those issues, and more easily overcome them with their athleticism and their perseverance. I mean, whatever. But the problem is I don't think you can do that so easily when you're playing Penn State, for example, right? That's just a whole different animal. So I don't think they can do what they did at Duke, where they turned the ball over 5 or 6 times and found a way to win. To me, that's going to be pretty much impossible tomorrow. So they have to play not just one of their best games, they have to play one of their cleanest games, which again is just it's good motivation for them. Good luck to them.
Right. And Penn State, until they got to Oregon, that first half of Oregon, because the second half they weren't penalized once, they'd really calmed that part down after the opening month. The 8 games stretched from October 1st all the way to the end of the regular season. They played typical James Franklin disciplined football in terms of number of penalties. I mean, to me, that's going to be an important part of this. And I also am going to be interested to see is how do the SEC officials call this game, especially in regards to Abdul Carter.
Absolutely, because I think it's kind of like a baseball umpire with a strike zone. Do you really know what you're getting when you go out there for another Saturday? Because they weren't going to call holding in the Big Ten championship game, and I'm not sure if Oregon got called for. I mean, did anybody get called for holding? Right?
No holding penalties.
Oregon,
Zero. Right? Yep, none.
So they decided, the officials decided, I guess, that they were not going to go there with that. So that's a very good point. And I think Penn State saw it in the second half, adjusted with how they used Abdul Carter. But to me, maybe being able to more quickly adjust with him in particular, because if you're going to allow teams to tackle him, then you're going to unfairly completely nullify one of the best parts of Penn State's defense. So if that's what it's going to start off with again, then you're going to have to very quickly get him off the edge, get him in the middle of the field, get him maybe even spying their quarterback, doing some different things, right? So who knows what that'll be like. They're just going to have to adjust, I think, really quickly to how it's being called.
Yeah, because, I mean, look, Jennings does a great job of moving, throwing. He's accurate. There's a lot of terrific things about Kevin Jennings that you just sit back and you're really impressed with. On the other side, though, is Drew Aller. 27th start in his career coming up. What are the differences, Frank, you see in Drew Aller through 26 starts that maybe we didn't see in Drew Aller through 10 or 11 starts last year?
Oh, I think there's a handful of different things. One, obviously, it's been talked about a lot, is his mobility and his awareness of how to use his legs. Not always even running down the field, though he's been better, much better at being productive that way. Having 50-some yards in the Big Ten championship game, I mean, there were some big runs in that. But also just the way he's been able to use the pocket. We saw it at USC on those fourth down, that one in particular. I don't think Drew would have made that play last year and would not have used his legs like he has. That's big. And then his leadership and his confidence in how he's handling himself. You know, if anything, it seems like sometimes maybe he has to rein himself in a little bit, but you got to love it. You know, whether he's making mistakes or not. Had the big interception against Oregon, but then he comes back, flushes that, and, of course, the last touchdown throw he made, he wouldn't have done that last year either. That ability to stand in there, getting pulled down, steady himself, make the throw. The way he can just use it, it's like, I mean, I just look at Ben Roethlisberger a lot early in his career, and you see that awareness using the whole field, even though he's not the fastest guy. It's huge for him. James Franklin's 100% right when you say you give me 3-4 first downs from your quarterback a game on the ground, biggest difference in the world.
And that's the next part, because he lost 12 pounds. I mean, he was like 242 last year. He's running around between 230 and 232 right now. Frank, I think that's made a difference in what he can do out there, along with the upper body strength.
Oh, yeah, 100%, because you can see him. He looks, I mean, and training's a part of it too, but the flexibility and the way that he can get outside when he decides to run, I mean, he's getting to where he wants to go quicker. And, of course, that's the difference in a lot of times getting trapped there for a loss or no gain and getting 7-10 yards. And was it one run, was it against Minnesota? It might have been against Purdue. I don't know. When he bounced it out to the outside and was bouncing off tacklers, I mean, if you have to defend that plus his arm, plus his ability to find, say, Tyler Warren 6, 7, 10 times a game, that's really hard to defend. How deflating is that for a defense when you think you got the big guy trapped and his guys covered, and him, of all people, gets outside and gets you 7, 10, 12 yards on a run?
What did you see in the Penn State running game in the Big Ten championship game from Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen that can be a difference maker tomorrow?
Well, I think it sounds like both of them were more healthy.
Yep.
And it's almost like, where were those guys? Well, I think health's a part of it. We definitely know Nick was not healthy for a lot of the year. And you saw it in the lack of explosiveness. Well, he's got that back. And maybe even Katron Allen, too. Even though he got maybe an ankle injury or issue, he just was running with it looked like a different purpose. So having those two guys at top-level condition is the difference. It's just like we just didn't have Nick Singleton the way we thought we could for a lot of the year, and now maybe you do. And to me, that's a difference. And I guess the blocking, I mean, I think Nolan Rucci might be a good example. How much better has he done settling into his position on the outside than when he was kind of getting some plays here and there earlier in the year? It seems like he's made some big improvements.
There's no question. I talked to his dad about it at the hotel, and it's just, first, let's start with this. Rucci always had trouble keeping weight on, and he was about 295 when he got here. He's now 317 now. He's kept his weight on all season. And not only that, I think he's done a great job as well as the strength and conditioning staff, and then Phil Trotwine and Frank Leonard. He's a more flexible player out there, and I think that's made a big difference because Shelton and Rucci, I thought, played great against the Big Ten championship game. They're going to have to do the same thing tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. And moving forward, because to me, in the playoffs, if you have a running game that's consistent and dynamic like Penn State can be in the Big Ten championship game, that is your steadying force to me. That's the thing you can rely on, fall back on, because we're not sure at that level who can stop Penn State. And if Penn State can be successful with that way on the ground, then everything's open for them.
Yeah, I mean, no question. Finally get to the 12-team playoff. The first game is going to be tonight, Notre Dame, Indiana. Any initial thoughts on that since that's the opener?
Well, the Battle of Indiana, this is incredible in that I think Indiana has a pretty good chance in this one, Steve. I think if I don't know if their defense has gotten a lot of credit maybe the way it should this year, but if their defense can slow down Notre Dame's run game and make Riley Leonard throw, especially when maybe he doesn't want to, that really could swing things maybe surprisingly to some in Indiana's favor. I think it's there for them tonight to win this game if they can force Notre Dame to throw the ball. I think Notre Dame's only gone above 200 yards passing maybe 4 or 5 times this year.
That's right.
So
yep,
it's
right.
not what they want necessarily. So if you're getting forced into doing that, wow, the Hoosiers could be moving on to play Georgia.
Yeah, to me, the whole thing is the offensive line for Indiana, because I felt they were exposed against Ohio State and Michigan, and Rourke had to make plays far earlier than he wanted to. If they can keep that part under control,
yeah,
I think that gives Indiana a real shot tonight. Because you're right, Leonard looked like he had trouble stepping into a pass earlier in the season. Now it looks like he's more comfortable out there.
Yeah, I like if you're going by quarterbacks, I like Rourke better.
Yep.
In this moment, but you're right. I mean, how good is Notre Dame's defense in this type of a game? They gave up a lot of yards and points to USC. I'm not saying that's definitely a warning sign, but it piques your interest a little bit. You know, they played a really good team with offensive weapons, and they struggled a little bit at times. So here we go. It's going to be, I guess, similar weather out there. So
yeah,
be enjoyable tonight. That could be the best game of the weekend right there.
Texas Clemson. Any feel on that one?
Be interested only to see where Texas's offense, where it's going here. It's kind of like got stuck in the mud a little bit. Is Quinn Ewers going to be able to lift them up? Are they going to? They need to start scoring more than 20 points a game, I think, if they're going to sustain their run the way they should.
Yep.
So I'm looking at their offense tomorrow. That I do think they're going to win. I would be putting my bets on that, and then who knows? Well, in the night game, you're going to go Ohio State, Tennessee, ask me, right, next?
Yep. You know the show better than I do.
I'm thinking, it's there for Ohio State in a way that it's there for Penn State at home. But, to me, Tennessee's big chance is their defensive line and their run game. Can they do anything similar to Ohio State that Michigan did? Now, you think Ohio State would have learned, right, what not to get drawn into again.
Yep.
Don't get put into the phone booth. Use your assets on the outside, your pass game. I don't care if it's cold. But that would be Tennessee's chance. But I just think I know it's similar in a way to SMU. It's just a big uphill, a little too big of an uphill, I think, for Tennessee tomorrow.
For Tennessee, that doesn't throw the ball as well as we thought they could early in the season. Frank, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for knocking it around on the show today. It's always a lot of fun. You're incredible. Thanks to you and your family because you gave us time today, and appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All the best, Steve.
Sounds great, Frank.
Yeah, take care.
The outstanding Frank Bodani, York Daily Record. All right. Very quickly, people are wondering about how things operate tomorrow. All right? So let's tell you what's going to be different tomorrow. All right? So I'll just outline it exactly how it is, okay? These will be the differences. And you'll notice everything else is going to fall into place. So here are the differences, all right? 1, the SMU intro video is required to be played on the video boards during the pregame. I've already told everybody that, just so you know. Intro, whole thing, fire, brimstone, run onto the field. No sponsorship advertisements are permitted to be run on the video boards or the ribbon boards at any point. So no sponsorship stuff. Select college football playoff videos are required to be run on the video boards. Okay? The SMU band will be seated in the north upper deck, and the only time they will actually play on the field is at halftime. Okay? Okay? What's normal? And you're going to find out a whole bunch is normal. Penn State's team entrance will be accompanied by the Penn State intro video and fireworks all over the stadium. All in-stadium music and sound effects will be controlled by Penn State. Bomba's going to be played on third down, the whole thing, just like a normal Penn State home game. And all normal fan engagements and Beaver Stadium traditions will remain the same from the time the parking lot's open through the final whistle. I hope that answers everybody's questions, okay? I know you were concerned. I could tell.
I don't have any big changes. All I'm doing is turning on my TV.
Oh, it's just, I can see you now putting it on a log in the fireplace. I can see it.
No, I have a heat pump. I wish I had a fireplace. My house does not handle the 20. My heat pump doesn't handle the 20-degree weather very well.
I mean, the suit's going to be watching IndyCar's greatest moments. All right, we'll come back. More in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by our great friends at Sunbury Motors.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-electric Prologue SUV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the generous passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
The holidays are a time of year to celebrate and reflect. Reflect on the past year, a year filled with challenges and uncertainty. Uncertainty that bred resilience and hope. Hope for healing, change, new beginnings, and unity. United as one people, one community, by one mission, to safeguard and protect what matters most. From all of us at Purdy Insurance, we wish you health, happiness, and joy this holiday season and success in the new year.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now, from the Sunbury Motors studio, here's Steve Jones.
All right, the holidays are coming up. Stock up at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Sorry. Brian Tripp sent me one of those hilarious text messages on tomorrow's broadcast. Imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere. Stock up for the holidays. And not only that, wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day. 6 great flavors of slushies. Incredible. And not only that, but they have ready-to-drink cocktails. How about that? Fabulous. Such as High Noon, Crown Royal, Jack Daniels, and the Pickle Bar led by the Barrels and the Dills, indeed second to none. And let me solve your holiday gift-giving issues right now. You are stuck, and you want to give something where it shows people you care. A Brewers Outlet gift card is exactly what will solve all your problems and make the receiver very, very happy. We are very happy. Merry Christmas, brother.
How you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for caring.
Yeah. Of course I care.
I know. Well, I'm getting that echo.
He's getting an echo.
So how's it going? Big week for you guys, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's the first time for everything. It's the first time in the playoff, first time hosting. And, there's a lot of excitement and swirl around it, like it's swirling in snow right now. But
is that good for them or not good?
Oh, it's not going to snow tomorrow, I don't think. There may be a couple flurries here and there. But it's just, I would say this is more, what do you think, Todd, mood snow?
Yeah, it's nuisance.
Yeah, 1 to 2 inches. Right,
Please refrain from throwing snowballs in the stadium.
That's not going to. That will not be an issue tomorrow. So that will not be an issue. There won't be any snow to do
one of the funniest moments of my life.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But we got playoffs tonight. I mean, the first playoff game's tonight. Notre Dame and Indiana.
I think Notre Dame's going to blow them off the field. I saw Indiana play Ohio State, and they were, man to man, they were beat at every position. So, I don't know.
Well, the issue's going to be up front because I'm talking about their offensive line. To me, that has been in the Michigan and Ohio State games. Rourke couldn't do much as a quarterback because the pressure was there in his face the entire time. That's the issue that Indiana really has to worry about in this game tonight with Notre Dame. If they can get around that, then they do have enough to make this highly competitive.
Football's one on the line. So.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much what I watched in the Ohio State game. They were just physically stronger.
Yep.
They were just getting pushed around the field. And the coach for Indiana was just really frustrated because there was nothing he could do. It was, how you watch a game and then you can just see they're just physically stronger,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So that's the read I got on it. I heard an interesting thing today. Jerome Wiggins was talking about it. Wiggy used to be a tight end for the Patriots and Minnesota and Carolina, a lot of different teams. Anyway, and then he was talking to Bill O'Brien about it, and he agreed 100% that it should go to a 24-game tournament and eliminate a lot of these bowl games, what do we have here, the South Carolina State at Jackson State, South Alabama at Western Michigan, these games that are drawing nobody in the stands and very little television coverage. Change those bowls into the tournament games, and it would be great for college football.
Yeah, the only issue I have with it is length of season. Because right now FCS, which is Bucknell and the Ivy League's going to be in the FCS playoffs next year. Okay, they do play a 24-game playoff. In fact, the semifinals are tomorrow. I think South Dakota State's playing North Dakota State, and South Dakota is playing at Montana State. So there's semifinals.
Great games.
Yep, and they are great games. I agree. And finally, 24 is down to 4. Man, it takes a while to get there. And how many games would you have to play in it? That'd be my one question. How many? Because Wes Durham and I were talking this morning. He does the Atlanta Falcons, and he's the voice of the ACC network. And we both are 98% sure that it'll be 16 teams by 2027. Which just, and all 16 teams means is that the 4 that get buys would be playing this weekend, right? I mean, that's what it means. And that's something that leads to debate as to length of season, because that means everybody would have to play 17 games to get to the promised land.
What's wrong with that?
Attrition.
Well, if they're going to play in the NFL, they got to play 18 games. So.
Yeah, but in the NFL, you've got practice squad. I mean, look at some of the guys that are playing right now that are off practice squads, and some of the quarterback matchups that you get at this time of the year in the NFL. Like, okay, I mean, look at the Detroit Lions. Okay, they're clearly, when at healthy, the best team in the NFC. But after all the injuries, they're playing practice squad guys on defense right now, and the Eagles are the best team in the NFC through attrition.
Okay, I get it. I don't know. I agree that those games, like you said, there's 500 people in the stands. I mean, they're not.
I agree.
See how they're making any money on them.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. No.
I mean,
you are
like they're just having a. I mean, Gronkowski has his own bowl game. Come on, that's stupid.
So I mean, let's get very quickly the money part of it. First of all, ESPN literally, Kevin, owns 17 of the bowl games. They own them. Yeah. Now, why do they own them? Because for them, it is brilliant, and it really is brilliant programming for them during the holidays. They bought the game, they've got the game, they own the game, and guess what? Right? Last night, it may not have been the greatest matchup on the planet, but they had a primetime game. And
yeah, well, how about this? Instead of having these, I don't want to criticize any college program, but the Big Ten schedule starts in September, the first week in September.
Yep.
And that you don't play these, Bowling Greens and stuff like this, unfortunately for them, that's the way it goes. But start the season earlier and start the tournament later, because that game last night would have been a top 25 matchup.
Yeah. Well,
which
in fact,
would have drawn a huge market,
it's really interesting.
To, nothing,
It's really interesting you brought that up, because Wes and I talked about that this morning, that we think that the first week of the season is going to transition where everybody plays on what is now called week 0. We think everybody's going to play, and that will be the start of the season to bump the calendar up. Because, again, the NFL does not give a darn about anybody but the NFL. They don't care about their feeders.
You guys are up against Kansas City tomorrow, right?
But, again, why is Penn State playing at noon? Penn State's playing at noon tomorrow because they didn't want the Penn State game opposite the Steelers game at 4:30 with the Ravens.
Okay.
Why is Texas playing in the 4 o'clock game? Because they didn't want them opposite the 1 o'clock game with Houston and Kansas City. So they want the Texans and Texas playing at the same time. That's why, and I talked to a guy from TNT this morning, he says that's exactly why the game was scheduled the way it was scheduled. And the reason the NFL is definitely doing it this time is because, guess what? These are the 4 teams that are playing on Christmas, and instead of playing Sunday, Thursday like they normally do, it's going to be Saturday, Wednesday. So these are the 4 teams playing on Christmas on Netflix. The NFL could care less about the college football playoff.
So are the games tomorrow on Netflix, or are they on?
No. Tonight's game is on ABC, ESPN. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's Penn State game is on TNT, and the Texas game with Clemson is also on TNT. And the Ohio State-Tennessee game, the primetime game, is going to be on ESPN, ABC.
So How about the NFL games? Are they on regular stations?
NBC is going to carry the Houston-Kansas City game at 1, and the 4:30 game between the Ravens and the Steelers will be on Fox.
I don't think it hurts your game.
Oh, no, I don't think so in the least. I agree with you. They will not hurt Penn State's ratings in this game. With Kansas City and
ratings
Houston.
Aren't going to be better because of it, but you'll get a lot of people who are just going to watch the Penn State game, and then a lot of people will just flip back and forth.
I think that Mahomes playing is a factor. The Texans are no factor in terms of people watching. Mahomes playing is a factor in terms of viewership, but the playoff game, because of the implications that it's a playoff game, will outdraw it.
Will Taylor Swift be there?
Really not gonna. No, she's not coming here. Just kidding. Even though she's from Pennsylvania, she's not coming here.
You're a Swiftie?
I mean, she has a great voice and writes some nice songs, and I've listened to her stuff. She's fine. But I'm not a, you know me. I'm not America's great groupie, as you know.
No, I'm not any of that. I admire her. I mean, I don't agree with her politically, but I don't have to.
No.
She doesn't have to agree with me. I love the way she's handled this whole tour and how she's handled the Kelsey, how they handled the relationship. I think it's good for football, good for her.
Well, I'll tell you what, the other part I do like is that last year with the truck drivers, how she gave all of them bonuses. I mean, that tells me a lot about her character when you see something like that.
Not a little bonus either, like $250,000 bonuses.
Yeah, it's huge.
We picked the wrong profession.
Yeah.
But no, she's a very, very good person. And if the world had more Taylor Swifts, we'd be a better world, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, politics, I don't care about that.
Yeah,
although I had
she is a wonderful human being.
I had to deal with it.
Phony, and I like it.
I had to deal with the politics last night. Out of nowhere, I'm done with the talk show last night. So we had Mike Rhodes, the basketball coach, and James Franklin, the football coach, on the coaches show last night. I do the pregame with James. I'm done. I get home. I'm going to have dinner. Yeah, I said, well, let's just look, because you know me, how often I look at my phone. Like, never. And so I said, well, let's just make sure about my emails. I got an email from the governor's office. Like, okay. Like, what the heck does the governor's office want to talk to me for? Right?
You've been there before, haven't you?
I've been to the man. Yep, I was at the mansion, the whole thing, so I've been there. And it was like, he'd like to come on the pregame show. Like, okay, well, now, does that bother me? Not in the least. I'll talk to the governor. That's great. Except I'm not in charge of that. Okay? I don't make those decisions.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. Everybody.
It's your name on it.
Well, no, it's the.
If you come in there and say, the governor wants to be on the pregame show, are they going to think about it, or are they going to say, really?
Well, no. What I did was I forwarded the email to the executive producer. Yeah. It's their network. I mean, I didn't pay the rights fee to do this. It's up to them as to whether he's on or not. And so I forwarded.
I'm just saying the example is they contacted you. They didn't contact the radio station.
Right,
they contacted you. You're the voice. So anyway, they knew that you would get it to where it had to go.
Right. I mean, because I did send an email out about this last night, and that was basically the response I got. Right? I put down, I said, I don't really get why I got this. And the reason they sent it back and said, well, you don't seem to get it. I said, okay, I guess I don't.
You're the man.
Right? You don't seem to get it.
You're the contact. But you handled it right. So is he going to be on?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. If he is, I would enjoy talking to Governor Shapiro. Just to talk. I mean, he's got Pennsylvania team playing in the playoff. He's excited about it. I think he's going to. I mean, I think the idea is he's going to be at the game and he can be with us. If he wants to be with us, I'm more than happy to have him. If somebody else makes a decision the other way, I'll roll with whatever they say. If not, we'll just talk football. Although Governor Shapiro can talk football, he's very, very smart man. So,
yeah. Well, good for you. That's going to be. Hey, you want to know what the? Okay, so far, Todd's winning again.
What? Jeez.
Todd is. Then tell me if I'm wrong. I got Todd at 5-1, Steve at 4-2, and I'm 3-3.
What are you going to do?
I'm not going to argue with you.
Oh, he's already doing a victory lap. He's already doing a victory lap.
I know better than that. When I do my victory laps, I end up losing everything. So.
Oh, jeez.
How you doing in fantasy football, Todd?
I've been done for weeks.
I'm in the playoffs, man. I got a bye in the first round, and now I'm nervous. So. You know how it is. You can do your preparation, but after that, you just put your hands up in the air. It's so situational, Like if your team is up by 3 touchdowns, or not your team, but one of your players is on a team that's up by 3 touchdowns, and your player is a wide receiver, and that means they're going to run the ball the rest of the game, you're all done, So. I get in there. I want to win so bad. So anyway,
go for it.
They got you into your first
this week and next week, and that's it. So I'm 12-2. Oh, had a good year.
They got you into your first league, and now you're an addict.
Yeah, they don't like me at all. No, because I don't know any of them, and they're all texting each other and all this stuff. I only know one guy. He's one of Elmar's son. The rest of them, so I don't partake in any of the group chats or anything like that. So I think one team's got Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley is one of the running backs, and Derrick Henry's his other running back. He's got 90 points before he even starts. So, but the rest of his roster's not too good. I beat him twice this year.
Let's see the Suits fantasy.
I got Chase from Cincinnati. I got Jefferson and Nick. I can't pronounce his name, but for Seattle, Nijima Smith.
Oh, Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, he's really good.
He played for Ohio State.
Hurts is my quarterback. He puts up 24 a week. So running backs is my weak point. So I picked up who's the running back for Cleveland, the backup. I forgot his name already. He's filling in for Chubb because Chubb is hurt. Yeah. How stupid can I be?
No, don't worry about it. Well, it's not because
Edwards is my backup running back. He puts up 20 last night, and I sat him on the bench.
Well,
man,
that's okay.
That's
you could be worse.
That makes you crazy. You got to make that decision, and then,
Well, it could be worse. I mean, the Suits fantasy team has Ben Roethlisberger, right? Okay. Betts, Jerome Bettis, and he's got Lynn Swann. And he can't understand why he doesn't get any points every week.
I played one guy who Brock Purdy was his quarterback, and it's got a big 0 next to his name. In other words, he's out, and the guy never changed him. So I beat him.
Really?
He didn't have a quarterback.
That's good. Hey, by the way, the Cure Bowl, 2 minutes ago, third quarter, Ohio University 27, Jackson State 14. Now, the second game I think is worth watching, Kev. Tulane in Florida. That should be a pretty good game at 3:30. So
yeah.
That should be a good game.
What do we got here? I took Ohio.
I took Ohio.
You're in trouble, Todd.
I took Jackson State, didn't I?
Yeah. And then
go, baby,
at
go.
night I took Tulane. You guys took Florida. So.
Oh, jeez. I just got a text from the suit. Guess who's the number 1 seed in the playoffs this week? Unbelievable. Somebody's had too much time at home.
Kevin.
Too much time at home.
How's he feeling? Doing good?
He's feeling better. He's gonna be back to doing games on January 2nd, which is great. Or January 4th?
Awesome.
It's the 4th, right? January 4th.
The good man.
Yes,
good
he
guy.
is. Yes, he is. Well, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, you guys. Have a happy, safe holiday.
Yep,
And
it's,
talk to you next week. What day, Thursday or Friday?
Let's see how Saturday goes, in all honesty. Only
Okay.
because
you got to win, man.
I'm just saying, let's see how...
I don't want to jinx it. This is
Right.
the biggest game in this man's career right
So I'm going to, I'll determine what next week is like starting about 5 o'clock tomorrow. How about that?
here. You're going to win. I think you win by 2 touchdowns. So that's my prediction.
Well, I would feel happy with that. All right. So,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, Père Noel. All right.
All right. Feliz Navidad.
There you go. Perfect.
All righty. Bye, you guys.
See you. All right, that wraps it up for this week. Brewers Outlet gift cards, by the way. Why don't we plant that in your minds? Stock up for the weekend. Go now. Snow's kind of backed off. Go now. Stock up. Okay? It's going to be cold. Lots of football to watch. Playoff tonight. 3 playoff games tomorrow. NFL on Sunday. Monday. Holidays. You want to make sure you got everything ready. Todd, great weekend.
You too, sir. Have a good call tomorrow. I will be watching on the television.
I will do the best I can. How about that?
That works for me.
Hopefully it's good enough for everybody.
Hopefully.
Yep. So, all right. 10:30 tomorrow. We're on the air from Beaver Stadium with the college football playoff here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.